players want to watch today's matchup and see what those mistakes are to really grasp it.
All right, let's take a look at our map banners. Ready? And let's see what the map that we're going to be playing on as the lobby is being finalized as we speak. 7-map pool down to 1, and it's MnM with a final 1. Coastline out theme park in. Des, you look excited. What's going on?
It's theme park.
All right, fair enough.
I want to go on the funny roller coasters. Now, I like theme park at the minute. To me, it's the most exciting map to watch still. I think we always say, what team ever chooses to start attack on theme park? If you're going here willing to be the attacking team, you best have something spicy planned. And I'd wager here for MnM, given they're the one that banned Coastline, given the choice over to Orgless on where they start. I think they got some spicy planned. Just saying.
Jeez.
I'm actually arguing that if you're going to take a team to one of your off maps, this is the team to take to your off map, because you've got to remember MnM are in a prime position to make playoffs. You only need to make top 4, and you don't even really care about seeding. It doesn't matter which top 4 you make as long as you make it. So there's no point showing all these elaborate strats on Coastline, let's say, for example, or other maps which you might not want to play come playoffs. So this might be a smart move here if they can walk away with an easy win.
All right, guys, we still have to kill a bit of time as one of our players is not in the game right now.
Who is it? Name and shame.
No, I can't.
Don't know. They just give us numbers.
They just give us numbers. Yeah, I mean, the person is in the toilet, as is tradition,
Yonka.
actually.
It's Yonka.
It's what?
There it is. So, Jess, naming and shaming as usual, but a lot of players do indeed do this. Some people go to the toilet 2 minutes before their games, so
no,
sometimes
we need to stop this now. Okay, if your
Yonka.
game is at a certain time, right, and you're not ready to go within that 15-minute bracket period, then be ready to go to the toilet like a normal adult human being, please and thank you. Let's get into it.
Guys, I need to go to the toilet now, so I'm just gonna run.
Oh yeah, I've got things to do too.
So there we are. Our matchup should be ready. Game is ready. All right, you know what? Jess says, let's just toss it over to our casters. Flats, all yours.
Jess seems so irritated, doesn't she, Flut?
Little bit.
Little bit.
One thing I've noticed.
Karen of Siege, as Milos calls her.
One thing I've noticed is the other two duos, they always fight. And they always are at each other's throats. And I don't know if we need to do that. Is that a dynamic
I don't know if it's a thing.
we're missing as a duo? Is hatred for each other? Who knows? Who knows? Either way, hey, look at us, MnM, Orgless, and a very rare treat on a theme park.
A tree or a treat?
A treat, I would say.
Okay,
like
I was gonna say.
if you went to a theme park, really, obviously, guys, don't go right now. It's a pandemic, but. If you're ever at a theme park, it's a treat. It's a treat day.
It is a treat day. Let's see if it will be a treat day for Orgless or for MnM, either of these two teams. Now, I'll like to let you know that if MnM win here today and Penta win here right after, both those teams will also be confirmed for playoffs. So we would have our first 4 teams after 3 days already out of the 5 we have. So there's something to play for here for MnM.
That's it. And obviously, they've also got a little bit of pride to play for. We've just seen Kavana, the other UK team with high expectations, get unfortunately knocked back by a team that otherwise took them by a bit of surprise. So, if there's anyone that might be able to take a game of surprise, Orgless, unfortunately, all eyes are on you because this roster has talent. There's no denying it. And these players that you and I are both familiar with because they've played across both UKI and Benelux scene, it's having success as an org. You've got players that they'll be very familiar with, players that are very great individual players, but what we're missing from Orgless so far is that unity.
You often see a lack of refragging, just a lack of a general plan. Something that wasn't really the issue when we saw them in Benelux, but of course big changes went through as, well, first Mickey got dropped, but then came back after Wishmaster decided to step down as he became a dead. And then Seven left the lineup and were replaced, both those two the slots, by the two Brits.
I'm just going to very quickly clarify something because of your accent. Dad, he's not dead.
Dad?
It sounded a little bit like he said he'd become undead. And I know it's spooky month, but we've already made jokes about that before. He's not a zombie.
He became an undead dad.
Well, I guess a new dad probably is in some way a zombie. My brother him and my sister-in-law have had a kid recently, and they're not getting much sleep. So, shout out to Frank, my little nephew.
Nice. Little nephew. Always nice.
He'll be playing this one day. When he's 18.
What? When he will be... Okay.
Yeah, obviously
I mean,
not before then.
There's a lot of 16-year-old people playing this game, Float.
What? The game is an 18. Hap.
I know it's 18 plus. Just saying, some people don't mind, apparently.
Do their parents know? Does Milos know?
That's a good... Let's tell them their parents.
Does Daddy Milos know? Report them. Let me check their MOS files for the parental guarantees. Hey, look, we're on Throne. We're on what is the standard first play hold. Now, one of the things that was said on the desk about Theme, if you are unfamiliar, is it is a great map for defenders. So one of the questions in a best of one scenario is, how much is it worth to you to bring the fight here? What means that you're comfortable and capable? Because the decision is in your hands at the end, because you know if Theme's on, you're going to be... It's very rare to be gifted your defenses first by the opponents to get the side select. So you have to be confident that you can take some of these. And MnM, well, they're a very confident attacking team.
They're a very confident team indeed. It's something they're renowned for, their attacks. They're often on point. And Orgless right now find themselves in a bit of a weakened state as Bash gets droned out, just decides to run back in. Still has the Black Eyes in position though. And will be possibly spotting Nathan jumping in here. He takes down the Black Eyes quite quickly, so there is no information. C4 gets taken out as well, no damage done. So the strafe of the MPX will have to do the job. And we'll take about 33 points of damage as Nathan is going to be trying to push in. Not finding the kill as of yet, however. Pushing all the way through the bathroom and will fall eventually.
Well, the first body goes into the favor of Bashed, who is a very good player on his day. And that's kind of one of those stories of Orgless that I think it's always worth telling, is when they show up, some of them can be phenomenal. In a way, it's similar to, you know, tier 1 teams like Virtus Pro, where you have all these great individual units, all these great individual players and fraggers like Josh Glitch, Bashed, and obviously Mickey. And when they start getting into it, when they start getting into their game, the question becomes, how do you stop them rather than how do you stop the team? And I guess that's one of the things that we've missed from Orgless so far, is they haven't unfortunately had an on day yet. But a start like that is definitely going to put some confidence in them. Take care of Nathan, take care of a big bit of guns and a talented player, and see if you can build from this point onwards.
I have to build on from this point onwards. Question is, where did Bash go? As they're still trying to find out where he slept out, where he basically went through. Because he managed to sneak out. He managed to rotate back to a safer position. As right now the sledgehammer is swinging in. Duco taking a bit of damage. I think that some of the shots of the AK coming through from the Nomad will be taking him down to about 20 HP. Which is not going to be very helpful as soon as this push will be coming down. But just look at how Orgless is currently set up. Duco will die on site, but there's still 2 people of Orgless currently not finding themselves on the actual site. And that means there's potential to go for flanks. There's potential to go for late flanks. That is, as right now the breach is being created. Bash is staying put. He's not giving away his position. And this could be a really powerful play and a really good round coming in from Orgless.
Starting to see the walls fall around them as they set themselves up for some cover and control here, but it becomes a matter of 20 seconds. You do not have much time, though. The current meta is one where you force yourself in with very little time left. Unfortunately, that's not the best way to do it. Josh Glitch playing away in Drug Lab finds one, can't find the Ash on the other side of the table, and now 10 seconds on the board. Still angles held, and still 2. Full collateral almost for the hands of Bash. Looks for another, but it's picked up on the return. Hops onto the table. Needs the cover to come in from behind. Doesn't find the angle. No! You were looking for the perfect plant spot, but unfortunately that dance cost you the chance of anything from that round.
And they're just saying a 7-0 for MnM might be looming. He's already gone. And a rehost gets called. Funkus is having issues with his gun and other guns and explosives and anything right now. Question is, hello, we're back.
I cast
Hope you
standing
enjoyed
up.
that round.
Yeah, it was a good round. I cast standing up, so I have a very small window from that being called to sitting back down and moving my microphone around. So if you ever hear that, that's me. One round in, MnM. They didn't take it. They had themselves stuck in a bit of a situation where there was a lot still left to do. But at the same time, you know, it's one round. It's one round off the board. Apparently Fonkus was playing without audio, so that's never good. You know, you have to think at this point, okay, this is the energy, this is the momentum, and this is the chance at it being their day for them to double down and get some control.
It is a chance to double down, and well, Orgless, they managed to get the first round in, and as you mentioned before, Theme Park is a very defense-sided map. Now, if they manage to get in at least 4 rounds, they're going to be in a good spot. If they manage to get in 5, we might actually see them battle for a win or just a point here today. As just a reminder, Orgless and Be Kind are currently still on 0, with Be Kind playing after this against Penta, which is also not really looking good for them given the French League results they've had. But yeah, Orgless is currently 1 round up. They managed to basically play off the back of a good roam of Bash to, well, had information, managed to put up some shots into Nathan, into the IQ, I believe it was. Took him down eventually, managed to rotate and hide in lockers, and as the drones didn't come out, that's a good late flank you have right there.
I do obviously love the difference in comparison is that once upon a time on the very first Open Playday, everyone looked at Group A as being this tight fight with draws all across the board, and well, Group B was a different story. A lot of 7-0s, 7-1s, quick games from teams that expected some domination, and here we found ourselves obviously with a little bit of a difference. The first game goes away from the favour, that it was close to the wire. The second game has started off on the back foot for the team expected to 7-0 maybe. Today is an underdog story full of hope for those that were otherwise sitting at the bottom of the board, as you said, with 0 points in Group B.
Thing is, 4 teams per group will be able to make it through, and that means a win here today is going to be very important for them. I'm just going to be putting up the scoreboard because as we speak right now, we have 6 points on Penta, we have 6 points on Homeless, and then 4 on both Kovana and MnM. And we have 2 on 0. So if Orgless manage to win here, they'll be having the head-to-head of a Kovana in the first place, which that means if they will be coming up to a tiebreaker after 5 days, they will be getting the higher seed because of that. So a win here is really important as they're directly trying to challenge both MnM and Kovana.
Well, second round, second place. Now, it's always worth citing that we can't get too excited behind the defense success because this is a defense successful map. This is one that plays well into the favor, and that is the site that does it best in a lot of teams' roster. So, an expectation of Orgless to have themselves sat on a similar split to a map like Clubhouse, where it's a 4-2, or even sometimes the 5-1 old school Villa, it's not the most surprising thing. What we need to try and pay attention to is the confidence in the movement, how quick they are to be able to pull stuff together and pull the attackers apart. There, it started from a roam. There, we still had bashed, causing problems from behind. You also had Josh Glitch, or just Josh, playing quite late towards Drug Lab as well, and obviously in a situation where, in the last 30 seconds, MnM tried to force the close down. It was successful, but it came at the cost of 1 life. If it came at the cost of 2, well, again, different story, and it's still a lot of late map control for the guns of Orgless on that defense.
Some late control indeed they had. MnM needs to speed it up. They need to make sure that they actually get their drones in properly this time around because, well, after Orgless just found a huge success by hiding in corners, hiding in these off rooms, by being able to pick up multiple kills and basically stall out that round, they're surely going to be trying to do so again. Just hide in these rooms that you normally would not check out, normally would not have a player inside of them, as it would be a suicide position. It could be a good one for Orgless to try and abuse those, especially if you run out their drones, if you make sure they do not have that many tools left to try and get any information in. And as they're starting to get pressured upon now, it's Duco that tries to go for an aggressive peek and will do so successfully. That is going to be the ace gone. That is the hot reach of the board, and the diffuser dropped yet again as a double kill gets picked up as Duco picks up yet another one.
Well, the trades are coming in hot and fast, and oh no, it's one of those nights. Fonkers disconnects from the game and puts it into a 5 versus 3. It's an unfortunate tale of woe that we hope is settled. It doesn't impact every game this evening, but for now it's impacted MnM's round, and they've got to see if they can dig in. And well, it's going to start with Nate. First off the board before, and he's trying to find the first off the board for Orgless, but he can't quite line the shots through the gap and hit the target at the end, so pulls back, pulls away, tries to double down on the support they might be able to have before. Obviously, you lose Ace, you lose Jonker, you lose the ability to crack a very important wall and walnut of what is a defender-sided situation. You got to come up with a plan B, and unfortunately, all that is leaning you into very skilled guns.
Issue here is for MnM. There's a Muzzy Mute combo on the board. These drones are not really going to be able to come through. Dats, however, will be able to come through as he jumps through that door. Will be able to pick up the kill to Josh, and that means an opening now has been created. Initiation is under control, and the quick plant will be attempted. The C4 will be tossed in together with a smoke canister, a lot of booms, and a utility being used right there, and leaves it all up to users now in a 1v3 situation. The diffuser is down. He needs to go and get it. He just doesn't know where all these players currently are at, from the likes of Orgless, as well. They're hiding in different corners. The diffuser still dropped, and users waiting in the waiting room. As Funkus joins back in. Another smoke canister gets popped. Users knows exactly for the smoke's position right now. Tries to push through. Maybe find some more as he pops that canister on the back of the shield. Has the opportunity to go for the plant right now, but with 3 seconds left, it means there's going to be a little bit of a gap here for Orgless to try and sneak through and deny that plant.
Yeah, the two players showed up just when they needed to in Orgless. 2-0, a great start. Well, whether the story would have been different, again, it's a situation where we've now hopefully got around with a full strength. Funkus, he's been a little bit unfortunate, I think it's fair to say, in these opening two, and I'm sure a player of his caliber is going to get fired up by these happenings and hopefully translate into that some gameplay you're hoping if you're an MnM fan. Either way, Bunk Daycare, third site, potential third point on the board for August, and well, let's see if they keep building. They're seeming more and more solid in their holds. They had situation, they're able to play against the opener, and they were obviously the most important opener of the hard destruction.
Good start indeed. Bit reckless of MnM to leave him up that, well, that exposed really, as he was just walking past the doorway there that was being challenged actively. But of course, those things happen. It's just a one-time thing. You're going to be a bit more careful now if you're, for example, Junker playing on that ace. Probably going to be trying to avoid these early gunfights if you don't have to, because you don't win the round in the first second, but you can definitely lose it.
Yeah, and that's it. When you kind of have those swings, those picks against people on windows, you pray that it's the main tactical alleviation of your attackers, and they got lucky that time. They got in a situation, but it's also, again, a confidence builder and bolsterer. It's something where they can hopefully build behind it and lean into their own. As I said before, we know the capabilities of these players, and they've been unfortunate to find themselves on the bottom of the board because they haven't been able to have those on days. They are more than capable of putting up a very sturdy fight, much more than the unfortunate results they've already got under their belt may say. And well, if there's any group where you need to set up, it is this one. This is a group that is tough. We know the teams that are supposed to be on the top. We've seen them demonstrate why, but let's have some proof of the pudding of why Orgless can put up a fight back. Bashed, early droned out inside Drug, waiting for the swinging and hop. They're not going to overpeak just yet. They know that they're being watched, and the more time they can take away, the better.
Going to be able to take out the second drone as well, and he's going to get pushed on the other side though, as Funkus is trying to make his way across, but Nathan will be able to pick up the kill from the arcade window. That is going to be your entry. That is going to be the Legion gone, no more goo mines to be deployed. That means you will be having a little bit more time to actually walk up to the actual site. However, yet again, they need to make hurry. They cannot wait too long before they're starting to advance themselves towards that site, because if they do, they might find themselves in these tricky situations again as Duco gets spotted out. Seems to be aware of the fact that the drone does make a little bit of a noise. He's staying put. He's not moving too much, as he knows that that could mean his demise.
Flashes start to come through, and it burns as you see the bodies of MnM stack themselves underneath. They know the pressure they need to apply, and they're going to try and do it now. If they can start the break here, it's going to be against the Jaeger that is holding on the long sight line towards those arcade cabinets. No immediate response as the smoke canister shows what the effect was. A bit of a burn of utility of both sides as Dats tries to get himself into the cafe to find a coffee, but the coffee is actually the body of anyone that might be close. The drones still steady onwards as they set themselves up arcade stairs, and here is the pressure from Dats. Leans in and leans to his death as Josh has the cover, has the pick in response.
A little bit of a bullet hole angle right there, working out wonders for them as Septic is trying to push back onto these main stairs, and the arcade stairs might be able to pick up a kill there as they lose just one right now. The shield there will be blocking off any further gunfights that they could potentially take. And Septic surely will still be active around that situation. Focus gets it down onto Duco, but the cover will be there. Josh able to move in. The SMG-11 coming in. An effective 2-on-3 situation. But as we say that, the secure comes in for the double kill from Josh with the C4. Huge gets the last. Orgless are 3-0 up right now on MnM. They're absolutely being played like a fiddle. I think that's the saying, right?
That is the
By
saying.
Orgless right now.
That is the saying.
All right. Thank you for confirming.
Josh is one of those players that I cited at the beginning of the day. As when they're on, they are so good. They have been the standout player for a lot of teams previously. They've, I've been thankful to cast them in my scene from the qualifiers, the tier 4 qualifiers for kind of the national leagues with She's 5'6", the classic UK massive roster. I've seen them play across many different forms and many different formats. And for me, they're one of those players that's always exciting. And they were always one of those players that was always going to have the potential to be big and go big if they could find a way to refine and consistently play their game. They even impressed Veli. When Veli came over, the lovely man that he is, to cover UKIN as a desk host, Josh Glitz was one of those players that went, okay, I'm watching this kid. I'm watching this guy. He's got something. And you know what? There's a part of me that's really happy that we're starting to see that light up. Yeah, it's only round 3, and yeah, it's a 4K. But, it shows the caliber and potential of this team. And it's against a team that he knows, too. So maybe that's where the potential confidence comes. The same with Bashed, who has had massive games in UKIN 2. I guess I'm always going to talk a little bit more intently about the players that I know more familiarly from casting them in the national leagues, but at the same time, it's a bit of fire, it's a bit of pepper, and well, now it's a bit of MnM's game that they've got to step up, because although I talk in great lengths goodbye Dats, although I talk in great lengths about the success stories of some of the Orgless players, well, MnM I don't really need to talk about, because when a team has their own copy pastors and dedicated fans, as Simba is in the chat, that is one of those things where we know that they can turn it on, and it's kind of just a matter of when.
Drone here from Nathan confirming that Bashed will be falling back, who, as you just said, after his stories in UKIN, came over to the Benelux to join with the core of this roster, bringing the needed fragging power, especially early on in the season as the lineup was still starting to form. Afterwards, Duco, who played his first competitive season ever, started to shine up as well. So suddenly you had two of these fraggers, Bashed and Duco, able to just show up everywhere the entire time. And they were a fragging duo to be feared. Duco eventually coming home, of course, with the MVP title, even though Bash was really close right behind him. And that shows that they're really competing with the likes of, for example, Deepak, who has been considered the best player in the Benelux for a very long time.
Well, now an Orgless player has unfortunately left us.
Did he die? Or did he just leave? Because with Funkers, it was like he died first, and after that he left to probably reset his game. So we might have the same situation here. Not sure if he actually died, but doesn't matter nonetheless. It's 4-on-4 right now, and Funkers seem to be gone as well. As Nathan will be opening up from above, putting up a breaching charge rather, trying to get these verticals in play so they can just shut down the players on the back of yellow. As Funkers still moonwalking in position. Meaning we're in a 3-on-4 situation now in favor of Orgless. It's really not going well so far, being haunted by these issues. Let's hope that they can find some success. And as I say, that Nathan will be able to pick up a kill. Very important one to Bashed.
Well, it's an unfortunate Playday that these two monolithic teams are finding themselves in so far, and we've just got to see who can find a little bit more right now. A 3 versus 3 with a player off the board for both teams. No eyes, no cams, no help. But obviously with Funker still stood previously, it's just a bit of a tough issue. Users creeping around the side of Dragon Door to see if he can put some pressure on the backside this time, which they didn't have last time, and finds it. Mickey goes down, a big loss, because previously as they tried to stick in, they didn't have that cover, didn't have that support, and only had one side. There's another for Users, who gets the double laid down at the bottom of Dragon Stairs. The pickup from Josh. Waited, baited, manipulated the chance, knew the plant was going down, knew he couldn't counter it, and then swings wide onto Nathan, finds another for his tally. It is just one more. The man who was the crouching tiger under the hidden dragon, was able to find 2 so far. Gonna throw the goo and bait the play, but there's the entrance. There's still 20 seconds on the board. Doesn't have to stick it, but finds it. Uses. Gets 1 more. 2 players return just in time. But
just in time indeed. Nice shot coming out. Or you? Nice shot. And what? Okay. Probably a nice shot from you. Perfect. As they joining back in, both of them are back. First round going MnM's way. That me. Okay. Back to us as we we have another rehost upon us. Unfortunately, but it's the truth.
I kind of said I hope it isn't one of those evenings, and it's turning into one of those evenings. Hi, welcome to Rainbow Six Siege, unfortunately. We are here. We've had a couple across the round so far, and I guess it's one of those things where we're aware of it, but you've also got to take into consideration that this will impact the players' mental state. It will frustrate them. So you hope, from our perspective, as people watching and enjoying the game, that they can utilize that for some strength. Obviously, we all know, as I said, the caliber of these players. We know the caliber of the aggression that they can bring. Let's hope it translates when they can finally get through with a bit of solidity. But what we can talk about right now is obviously how that round went and how it almost yet again came down to a huge triple kill from this situation, the post plant. And I guess what you think MnM might need to potentially step up, because it did almost slip through again.
It did almost slip through. Josh was almost able to either go for the stick or go for that final kill, as of course he didn't really have much of another choice. He put up that 1 goo mine that we had towards the lockers that allowed him to realize, okay, they're not going to be coming from that side, so he had to come from the dragon side of things, and that's exactly what happened. He just unfortunately wasn't able to get the kill, and that means MnM was able to win that round. Now, I just want to say, I just really saw how you know the end of that round, and Septic actually joined in the MnM team, so he joined back in the wrong side somehow. That is why we're having the rehost right now. It's a very peculiar one, but nonetheless, 3-on-1 is the current score. Orgless are really stepping up their game so far in total, just to be plagued, just like MnM was really by some issues.
That's it. I mean, we've also, for all I'm talking about how I think that MnM might need to step it up, they did take a round win there. They did pull themselves back a little bit more, which obviously came from, I would say, a bit of a quicker pace. They had more control when they needed to. They were able to get those roamers down earlier. They were able to shut down what they needed to around the site. So they had space and they had room and they had positioning. At the same time, you look at obviously the way that users grew into the game, grew into positioning. A player who stepped into the MnM roster when they lost Blur towards Navi and Joe, and that whole thing happened, but one of the players that they lost. It's this situation of let's see MnM step up, because we know that they're capable of it.
They're definitely capable. It's always a bit of a hit when you lose, some of your players to poaching. For example, Gamma has had experience with that as well, but many other teams have had experience with just players being picked up to the pro side of things. Hosty also got picked up by Rogue for a couple of days. That is also going to be effective, of course, the team where he came from. But that's kind of the beauty, right, of the whole national system, because the players will be shining through in the nationals, and then either they will grow themselves to CL with their teams, or they will be picked up by either a CL or Pro League team, and that is really, I think, where the nationals shine through.
Hey, we're back in.
We're back in.
Back in. And, well, let's hope, fingers crossed, toes crossed. Everybody in chat, please cross your fingers and hope that we can ride this one out all the way. Cat jams. I like asking for cat jams. I guess everybody loves cat jam. 3-1. 3-1 to Orgless. MnM took a round, took something, and have been able to hopefully, I guess, build from this point onwards. It's come down to some clutch moments. It's come down to some pretty fantastic plays from Orgless, but there's more room to grow, more room for growth, and more room for possibility on the board.
There's definitely more room for improvement, especially after you saw the first 2 days of them playing. didn't really look well. Now they're starting to look more like a team, actually working their way actively against MnM as they manage to get these entry frags ever so often, really. And Duco again being aggressive near the cash side of things, hoping to be able to actually now pick up someone else again. Just be aggressive, be effective. And if you can take out Yonka again from the get-go, that is going to be a really good start.
Well, 3-1. Let's see where the build starts here. They're going for their approach in a similar way as to before. They have the eyes and the angles and the ideas, and Duco is keeping himself alive, mobile, and a bit of a threat and pressure. Obviously, if we look at how this one started last time, it was a pick against the ace, who couldn't quite get in with those with the possibility of destruction before he was even destroyed himself. So they want to make sure that he at least gets into the building this time round, can start getting through that very important solid wall that leads all the way down through to the heart of office, forces someone to be stuck in the vault, as we see someone holding now, and allows, if anything, a bit of a cut and a bit of a cross section.
Air jumps being deployed just to stop any potential run-outs or aggressive advances from Orgless to try and retake the cache, for example, as the rest of MnM slowly starts to group themselves up on the top here of Dragon Stairs and around on the balcony of cache. It shows you the take they want to go for, as right now everybody seems to be shifting a little bit towards the control room. Might be able to get a quick kill in yet again on the player that is playing hard left on that reinforcement. Of course, not happening now as these Selmas are being deployed. There's no time to put a new mute jammer down. And that means a breach is on the way.
Well, the Selma's able to be popped this time, and Jonka's able to apply the other pressure on the opposite side too. This is a much better start for MnM, but with all 10 players on the board at this time, the longest, we've had everybody still standing, looking to try and swing and apply pressure towards the default plant spot from control, but they can't quite see anybody as of yet. We've seen the angles held like that by Mickey before. We've seen it across the board from all the players. Josh Glitch, or just Josh, is the one that is behind, Force of Habit, as Funkers finds his first, finds himself in a round and finds Bash, but the trade comes out against Nate very quickly. The push is slowed, but Jonka's actually going to move inside the smoke to get in and try and apply some pressure. They might not know how close each other is. Jonka is the one that wins it out. Mickey just round the corner, throws the smoke and throws it right onto Jonka, who's not able to stick because he's already taken one. There is more trade, and there is a body drop to the top of your screen too, all down to Dats. Finds a very important kill. But it's caught by the smoke canister!
No way, just a little bit! As he just walked into it, breathed in the last very particles of that smoke canister. And Orgless! Pick up yet another round. Oh, no way! There's a bit of complaining coming out as they didn't see it, but it's like, it's an area of effect that it starts fading out. You start to walk in and suddenly you lose your last 2 ticks of HP. And Orgless put themselves up 4-1, which could have been a 5-0 fluke.
Could have been.
If only that clutch came through. With a 4-1 right now, Orgless absolutely stepping up.
It's an unfortunate evening. You never want to get too far into it, obviously. But little moments, little happens are happening, and it's not obviously any of the things you want to see, but you got to kind of grin, bear it, and try and push on. 4-1. It's felt a little bit longer than that tonight, unfortunately, especially after the pace that we had of the games previously. Can MnM find something less? As I said at the very beginning of this, it's not the most uncommon thing to have a 4-2 split on the turn of the half, and a couple of these decisions and favours are going out of their hands. But you've also got to look at that final situation. It was technically, in a weird way, a 2, or as a 3 versus 2. There were 2 players still standing, though, on one side and 1 on the other, so it was 2 versus 1. And it ended with the smoke, so the Ash's health was exceptionally low. It was a good play from Orgless. Orgless did have control regardless of the manner that it ended, and obviously had the position to push and apply the pressure in the final. I believe about 20 seconds was left on the clock off the top of my head. So it was angling itself up to be a 4-1. There was a clutch possibility to make it a 5-0. It wasn't. It ended up how it did. It's the possibility now of Orgless to push themselves to a 5-1. Push themselves to a situation because their attacks, they're also going to be tough. MnM are a very good defensive team, and this is a very good defensive map. They still have a lot left to do for how the scoreline may look right now.
The thing is, however, they're renowned for their attacks, Fluke, and you would really expect them to pick up at least 2, maybe even 3 rounds in that case. Because everything else besides that they are letting slide really and giving to Orgless, they will be having to fight they're gonna have to get those back onto the defense themselves, and that means they have to double down onto the defenses. And as Orgless doesn't seem to be wanting to slow down yet, they might be able to continue this current momentum they have.
Well, the momentum's what's going to carry them quickly towards Arcade Stairs, with Skeptic watching above. They did this last time. Burn the ADSs and try and huck them, and a bit of pressure around. They went with flashes in an attempt at a push, but they're going to potentially still burn, and they're trying to bait some pressure to come. But here's the cooked grenade, here's Fonkers over the back stairs, and there's at least the Goyo shield gone. Skeptic has to pull all the way back, and Dats is actually smoked away from the stairs potentially, and there's a second grenade, and there is Skeptic caught. 2 grenade kills, 2 rounds. Fonkers, Bonkers when allowed to be here, and he's been here for the past 2 at least. Users, another player who has high capabilities, as I've said by a lot of these lads, is looking to try and rotate around the back stairs and get some control to make sure that this rotation game from the yellow stairs doesn't come true. But last time it started to fall apart with a push here. Bullet hole was the cost, and let's see if Dats falls for it again. No, pre-fires round isn't going to let Josh take the 4K he was able to pull.
Mackie holding from the hatch, potentially able to pick up Funkers as he will be moving past soon. Splash playing on the yellow stairs right here, trying to hold down Junker, taking quite a bit of damage right here. The bullet holes are coming out to play, as here we have this Selma's now opening up on this wall. Will surely make it hard for Josh to play inside, as Mickey will be able to get the kill, and the down onto Funkers. He's going to chase aggressively with the shotgun, able to pick up on that kill. Users, however, in the meantime will be able to take down Bashed. It's up to him now. It's all up to Mickey in a 1v4 situation with only 6 shells left inside the shotgun, 2 in pocket. Is he going to be able to get the kills? Misses the shot somehow on the Ash. Is going to be trying to rotate out, but the window cover is there, and MnM is going to be able to pick up their second round and still look out that 4-2 split that they have been chasing.
4-2, a round played out start to end. It's a nice thing to see, especially if you're an MnM fan. Let's see how it translates onto the defense. Now, they're setting themselves up to try and play this one through and pull themselves back. And Josh is talking to users, which I guess... Okay, there we go. Yeah, whenever a UK player opens the chat, I'm like, uh-oh.
What's going to be coming out of these mouths now? Or out of these fingers, rather?
Referring to himself as simple. The player, not...
Humble.
Humble.
Very humble. Not seeing the Oryx being 6 picked out. The Bennett will be making its way through. Would be a shame. Would love to see Oryx just bash through some walls.
Well, let's see if Orgless can bash through some MnM walls. Use this with a 4K, or with 4K. Now, obviously, you're looking at the balance back between the gunners. As I saw before and said, obviously, the breaks of momentum, you've got to always take that into consideration. You've got to look at how that might affect players that were sharp before, and it's not just one stumble. Unfortunately, it was a couple, but we're running now, touch wood. And we're looking at the possibility of Josh, who has fallen off a little bit on those defenses. These are great players when they're allowed to reign free on the defense. And I guess one of the things I've got to talk about when I'm discussing their slight lack of unity that we've seen is their attacks, where it is more obvious. Fortunately, it's hard for a team that is made up of great gunners to get themselves fully coordinated on attacks. Harder still when you're on a map like Theme, which not only is a tough bastion of walls to defeat, but you see it less, so it's less common for you guys to develop yourself.
Now, it was a bit of which drone is mine, which drone is yours play right here, but nonetheless, they're going to get underway and, well, just redeploying them here, trying to get the information out. Looks like Cash will be the primary point of the attack. As the cam will be spotting out what's going on right here, so they know that information is being gathered. Surely soon that cam will be taken out. But Orgless not stopping, not slowing down, as they're hoping to, well, grab the initiative right here, because that is exactly what they need. They need 2 rounds to get that 1-pointer in, and they would need only 3. That's closer than they've ever been to get a win here in Challenger League. And I said it before themselves, many might underestimate us, and that might exactly be what MnM did, as they took them to Theme Park, which would be an off-map, as said on the analyst desk before.
Well, the drones are steadily working their way around, and look at all of those attacker bodies buried inside the office shower, looking to try and push towards the office itself. There is one inside the vault, but you're behind a Goyo. That gets popped. You've got to quickly head to your rotation around the top of the staircase. There is Sophia, wants to apply the pressure. The second one gets caught by the ADS. After the first didn't, it's made this a much more costly affair now. Users crept in for a low bullet hole angle with the MPX is looking and waiting, and they know the game that was played against them, and they're looking to respond. But that'll give a bit of the game away. Looks up, but it's too high, and this could come down from low. The rotation has actually pulled back and pulled away. But with DATS still dug in, there's so much that they can still do here.
There's still a minute left on the clock, and Bash displaying downstairs. Surely we'll be checking if there is any destructible flooring. I don't think there is. And that means we will be pushing up these yellow stairs anytime soon. Yuzus, who is, well, quite vulnerable from that position as DATS gets blown up, might actually burn to death as Mickey will be able to pick up Yuzu, so the cover is gone as well suddenly. And then it is going to be up to DATS right now, who is low on HP. Managed to pick up one kill, digs himself in deep in the vault right here, but if he steps a bit too far to the left, he might lose his HP to the player that is playing on these yellow stairs. As Septic picks up a kill, Junka will, however, take down Mickey. It's a 3-on-2 situation here in favor of MnM with only 20 seconds left, but members are so low on either side. And as I say, that's to pick up yet another one, and Nave to finish it off. It's MnM to pick up round 7.
For how long Bashed held that is kind of a lesson, and you can't really hold that forever, because this thing started to fall apart with the main push on the site itself. You knew that there was someone in there, sure, and you knew that they were exceptionally low health, or you had a rough idea. You blew up his shield in his own face, so he's damaged at least. I guess they were hoping that they would force a rotate with the attention coming through, but, you know, DATS was in a situation where you couldn't quite get the full angle, and for me, if there was a little bit more cover and support, it might have been something more damaging and destructive a bit later on. Either way, 4-3. It's easy always to pick faults from our perspective. Let's see if they can translate that, because some of their attack was really well formulated. There was a couple of moments where you saw they came up with a plan B. The rotation away from the shield and Goyo at first to try and hit it from a different angle worked really, really well. It almost got the kill, and obviously we then saw DATS go on to get 2 more kills and put a huge amount of bullets into one of the third, so little moments, unfortunately swinging into the favor of the attack, the defenders, which is Theme Park, sadly.
Theme Park indeed. Defense-sided a map. So far we have seen 5 defensive rounds won and only 2 on the attack. As often it did come down quite close to the 2 of them. We haven't really seen like incredible blowouts happen yet. So there's still something to aim for either of these teams. As MnM will be choosing to go for the bunk daycare. Actually, is it bunk daycare? No, is it? It's initiation. Initiation office, because they just played bunk daycare. Silly me. Not realizing. But yeah. It is initiation, and that means Cash will be a point of ingress as users right here trying to go for a spawn peek. Will be able to get it one, but not the second. As he does a little bit of damage down to Septic.
Well, the eyes and angles are put forward and played towards those bodies still buried inside. They're looking for a bit of control here, and with this trade situation still very much in full play, it's becoming a bit of a dicey affair. Nafe. C4 prepped, wants to blow another body out. There's the throw, there's the swing. There's no Bashed, unfortunately. A few steps too further back. And, well, it's a big bit of utility blown and lost, unfortunately, in that battle over those computers.
Reaching charge coming out. We'll be opening up on that hatch. Give them another point of ingress. Point that they can maybe put some pressure from. The hatches on the map, however, especially on the roof, not really that valuable to create lines of sight, but are mainly, well, used to either toss utility through or just to drop in as soon as you know what's safe. And talking about what's safe, Cafe seems to be. And Bash is taking control of it. There is a Melusi that they will have to take care of, but there's nothing a quick M230 cannot fix. So the breaching charge goes in, takes care of that, and that means they now have free movement throughout this hallway.
Well, more bodies traded and more loss as they find themselves back on the back foot. Bash shows up for his first, and Nafe, well, tried to risk it all for a just a drop of blood, and unfortunately couldn't get it. Skeptic is only on a drop of blood now. As a quick pre-fire comes over the shoulder, Malusi droned out, and they're looking to use their body advantage, and with a minute on, they have more than enough time to gather the intel required to put the damage and destruction in. Nafe is still rotating close for the firefight. The ping came out, and he knows someone's just playing on the top of the staircase. If he can swing onto Cash Door here, this could be big, and it is. The fear goes down, and Jonka finds 2 on the opposite side, and now it is only Bashed. The one who I complimented for getting the kill earlier has to find 3 more to have the hope of this round into their favour.
Knows around the position of one of them players, but decides to not push for it yet. Pushing towards the site first, gets swung on, but will be able to pick up on that kill. Instantly swaps around for the 180 potentially because he gets pushed from the back. Not able to land that kill yet, but look at the HP of all 3 of these members. Every single one of them will be taking just 1 bullet to die, and there's 19 seconds left. The diffuser doesn't get picked up, and that allows a potential rotation to come through. There's no time. He needs to go for these frags, checks the wrong corner, and a pre-fire of Junker comes in. Bashed will go down, and MnM are going to be able to draw things back up. We're on 4-4 right now. That means we have ourselves a good match.
Wow. Now we see, obviously, the start to the build and the potential of chaos here from MnM. We've talked of their ability to turn it on. Their ability to kind of find that little bit extra, and I guess on their defense, when you have all of that playing towards your favor, it's helping. There are these moments that I've said have been helped to the defenders on both times and both sides. You're looking at, you know, just the kind of terrifying brickwork of Theme Park. It works in your favor, and it wouldn't be surprising to see another 4-2 split, but knowing MnM, they want to push harder and faster and further to lock this off as a victory. More points and guarantee themselves that position on the top, especially with Kavana dropping their game earlier this evening.
MnM hoping to get this win in. That would secure them a very good position to go out for indeed for the remainder of this season. The 5 playdays they have in their groups, as currently they are equaled out on 4 points each. MnM has the opportunity to push themselves to greater heights, to push themselves in front of the British. How do I say this? The fellow British team, you know, like either of those two.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they have the opportunity to secure their own spot today as well, which is of course what they would be aiming for. Now it's going to be very unlikely that if MnM win this, that Kavana is not going to be securing their own spot next week. If, however, they lose, it will be a closer fight. And that is something you're looking at right now. If MnM lose, there will be a fight probably till the last playday until we know all 4 of these spots to be confirmed. However, if they win this, we will already have the opportunity of the first 2 confirmed here today, with the next 2 to be able to be filled out next week on Friday. As Josh gets harassed through the drone hole as Funkers is just holding a very tight angle here with the 416.
Wow, there's a tighter angle, and it's through the head of Mickey as Dats finds 1 and leads themselves in. We've generally seen the lack of success when he's been the one inside Cafe, and, well, it's, I guess, a story to see it the other way around. Skeptic is looking for a bit of a rotation. The C4 pops from Nafe underneath, but no catch. However, it does mean that they are well aware of a body inside Drug, as they probably would be. And, well, they're well aware that they now have a sightline too. So the main thing to take away from that is you can't just enter. You've got to apply some pressure onto Drug from underneath, potentially on the window, or from this side as you look towards the arcade and the pop-in, and obviously the maintenance area.
Maintenance area is the point of ingress of Bashed at least, as he will be hoping to pick up 1, maybe even 2 if he's sneaky enough. Users and Junker find themselves on side. Duka has a drone out there, and then Nathan and Funkers are finding themselves on the western side of things. As Funkers is going quite aggressive towards the arcade window. We'll be opening that. We picked up from the rotation as Duka was holding the angle and the door. Wasn't able to make his way back in, and that leaves us in a 4v4.
That's it. When I said it's going to have to be realised as a push, they've got to either apply the pressure from those arcade window, from barrels, and then from maintenance. That is why you force them into a least successful position, and you're able to take a body and take a pick there as you kind of stretch what they're doing on the ground floor. You realise that you need to apply some pressure on the flat before you can truly take any more of the top. It was a good read from Orgless to quickly pull that together and pull that apart. They've noticed the top heavy, so So now they're going to go down here and find their second bashed, with the entrance from maintenance on the split side of this style of take leads to a little bit more success. Now, the pressure is back into the hands of MnM, who still do have that vertical control, sure, but it puts so much more on side Nafe. He doesn't have any real support anywhere else from around him, so he's got to be concerned about those doors in the split, and it allows the approach here, and it allows some safety too if they want to reapply some pressure upstairs, because they're now well aware, oh, Nafe, they're all around you.
Especially since this window is going to get opened up now. Josh gets the kill onto Yonkers. Duco jumps in. The support should be there. Attack comes in. It's Nafe to pick up one, but it's going to be Dax to follow up. And then Josh cleans up for Orgless. They will be able to pick up round number 9. They're now on 5-4. 1 point away from a draw here. 2 away from a win. Is this going to be Orgless stepping up finally after 2 weeks of disappointing results and showing what they are made of? They're definitely giving a good matchup here against MnM. And MnM are not out yet. Don't forget that. They can still win it. It's not too late yet. There's no 6 hit by either of these teams. That means anybody, both these teams, can still go for the win.
Got to give credit as well to obviously Orgless, who have really shown up today. But as you said, it's not over yet. They've still got work to do. And well, as I said, it wouldn't be surprising to find ourselves on another 4-2 split. Great adaptation there mid-round from Orgless to set themselves up. Again, you look at these coin flip moments and coin flip decisions that if they'd gone the other way, maybe we would have had a different story. But we don't. We've got the story that's being told in front of us, and it's now MnM back again on the back foot and looking to try and battle back into this game. They are better situated on their defense rather than the attack, and I guess they're hoping for a little bit more success.
Hoping for some more success, as they really need to make sure to get this round if they want to go for the win. Otherwise it will simply be impossible. They cannot afford to lose rounds anymore if they want the full 3 pointers to secure their spots in the playoffs here tonight. Otherwise it might still be out in the open. We'll be going through. Maybe only Penta here will be tonight, of course, will be able to secure their spot. That is something that, of course, Penta knows, but MnM will be aware of as well. They cannot afford to be drawn up with Kavana Gaming, especially not when it would be Orgless to get close with 3 pointers here. Then suddenly, one of those 3 teams will not be making it into the playoffs.
Well, MnM, you've set yourself up for a similar hold as to went before, but as I pointed out, 1 or 2 moments that had swung the other way might have been different, and one of those players I talked about was bashed. At the time of things going wrong before, hadn't a single kill. Now he's been able to bag 3 over the past couple rounds, so he's found himself a little bit more, which is always a good thing if you're looking from the eyes of Orgless, because you have to have a bit of confidence in your Ashe player. The ironic support in the current meta of being able to heftily utilize those charges. Okay, I say it. It's obviously a joke. But at the same time, is it really?
It is a joke, or is it not? That is the question here. Because, of course, like, it's a lot of utility you have. And you have those flashbangs to waste out the ADSs. Then you have those 2 S charges to take care of these shields that are also annoying to really deal with, especially if you're playing up against the Goyo. Those S charges can basically secure you a kill as well if you take care of that utility. So in some sense, yes, it's a support, right? Because it will be taking care of a lot of utility. It will be allowing the rest of the attack to potentially set up, but on the other hand, the utility and the kit is still, you know, aiding you in potentially going for frags yourself if you have a really good gun. Talking about frags, Duco starts things off as he will be able to pick up Yuzu's. That's however responds as he's, well, again, playing inside default, not really receiving any pressure from any of these Orgless players.
Well,
Are they going to open it for them?
I mean, they're waiting for something, but it's not like the players are really going to get close to that because, well, that's why they have the ear so they can dig. Oh, thank you.
Appreciate that. Now I don't need to reload my shotgun. Try again and open up like that. As that's playing behind the shield still in default, unpressured. Managed to pick up 1 kill, not really being hunted as Josh now opening up from the, well, opposite side of the window. Hoping to put multiple points of pressure right here as that picks up yet another kill. That is going to be Duco gone off the board. Mickey really needs to step up. He needs to get this kill because he has been an absolute destroyer of Orgless right here. He gets it down eventually on that. That will be known soon. Grenade, however, will be caught by the ADS. It doesn't matter as he's down, but the flank is coming in from the back. As Funkus will be able to pick up 1 kill. Instantly traded out, however, is Josh and Bashed in a 2-on-2 situation. The time is running out. There's only 10 seconds left. Are they going to be able to get these kills in? And no one is going to be around in this location, but the cover will be there. It's 1 kill to come in a 1-on-1 situation. Bashed, you only have 2 seconds left. Junker's prone on the floor. Gets the pre-fire, but he misses it. Goes for the wrong side. And MnM will be able to secure 5-5. I suspectate that just laying and chilling behind his shield as he was downed the entire time around.
2 rounds on that attack where we've seen it fall, generally from my perspective, to that Goyo and that gosh dang vault. There it was. They shot him down. He wasn't entirely convinced, which is fair in this game, obviously. You don't really know. You've got to try and go by your intel and your ideas. And it was a hectic bit. He pushed for it, got the down. If he had have pushed into the vault, that would have been a confirmed kill. But he didn't know that he was down. So he tried to pull back, throw a grenade. Oh no, ADS cooked. Then there was, I'm assuming, a call or a moment of realization is you've got him, he's down. Went back, and just on that swing, the cover came in. And then from that point onwards, again, coin flip moments, my word. This half has been surmised by it. That one went away from them. You've got to give credit, obviously, to the pace of MnM to get themselves in a position to save President Goyo, who was down and out and just watching and waiting. But, again, if you want a coin flip moment, Bash swinging left instead of right with a pre-fire.
Oh, wasn't able to get the right corner in. Probably at the scare of the player just laying prone there in break. As he managed to make himself his way in. Yash, of course, a 3-speed. Probably there wouldn't be a different operator would like to have in a situation like that as the attack, where you quickly have to push a certain side. But hey, 5-5. And whoever wins this round now will have the opportunity to go for the full 3 points. And they'll have their 1 point secured. But at this moment in time, both these teams are seeming pretty equal. I really don't know who I would like to give it to, because like MnM are like really solid. However, Orgless managed to surprise them so many times. It's hard to tell.
I think that's it. When you're looking at the surprises that are kind of coming out, it's these standout moments that are frequently flicking and flickering their way in and out of life, unfortunately, for Orgless. They keep having this close possibility, and as the frag grenade cooks and catches nobody, well, it's a bit of early use utility. The dance of the ash on the window is nothing that draws too much ire or attention, but they've been able to at least force some bodies further away from them, and looking to try and swing in and get some control. Not even that. They're just going to force them to a more uncomfortable position and say, well, we've got other things to do.
Sure, okay, Jonker did not actually go for the peek right there. Could have had a free kill onto Septic, who was quite exposed as soon as he went on that drone. Right now we'll be finding out the position exactly of that Malusi, who should be stuck in the current position. As Funkus now the one playing inside default. Is Jonker trying to go down? Mickey will be playing from the stairs as he throws a grenade up. It is going to be Jonker still playing very passively, trying to run in right here, able to get 1 kill through. It's actually Dax that managed to get it. The refrag will be there, however. Bashed will be able to pick that one up. We're staying in a 4v4 situation. Stuns being tossed in. Dax flushed out. Question is, how hard will they go to try and push him out of his position?
Quick spraying. Well, quick down onto Bashed there. Mickey is in a position where they might be able to get the pickup, and they're going to go for it. They pull themselves further away, but look at Iana working underneath. Nath drops the Duco, who is adding a bit of pace now as they try to apply the pressure towards that very important stair set. This is a doubling up on either side. They've got themselves a pinch, and you can see the blue bodies have been pushed further and further away as they try to collapse themselves closer and closer to the site. Now, with a big half of the second floor fallen under their control, going for the slightly less seen west to east push instead of the usual take-in as scarp it a little. Fonka swings onto Duco and drops the Iana, but with still some frag grenade in pocket. Skeptic is looking to try and get one more as Bash swings and loses to Users.
Refrag attempt will be failed as Mickey wasn't able to get the shots down. They are now aware of the fact that it is indeed clear. The push in comes, but Mickey will fall. Dax wants to go for the second, but Septic will pick that one up. There's 11 seconds left on the clock. Users goes for a flank as the plant is attempted, but Septic is going to be going off of it for some reason. That will leave him in a very poor position right here. The wallbang comes through, and Yuzus will be able to land the round in MnM's Gaming's hands. And that means they are able to go for the full 3 points. They are at least getting ahead of Kavana Gaming. Are they called Gaming, actually? Just Kavana. No, Kavana Gaming. There we go. It's always a bit tricky. Kavana Gaming, or is it Esports?
Yeah,
is
you
it
always want to make sure you get the name right.
I want to make sure. Yeah.
Technically,
but I got it in the end.
It's technically our job.
Yeah, it is our job. I just got confused for a second.
Okay.
Because, but it was Kavana Gaming. Just
Every time
double check.
Every time you mispronounce something, Milos gets angry.
Yeah. Oh, really? I wouldn't
Just
want
in
to make
general.
Milos angry.
Just in general.
Like,
If you mispronounce something 3 times in a row in a mirror, Milos appears behind you.
I'll try that after this cast.
I wouldn't. Shows up with a vengeance. You've guaranteed a point, MnM. But you got it 1 point last week. You don't want to make the same mistake again, because nobody wants to battle into obscurity with draws, especially when you know what you're capable of. Orgless at the same time, you at least deserve a point with how you've played today. You deserve your first, and you deserve it on this play space here on theme, so you got to pull out a little bit more of that extra that you've been able to do a couple of times throughout today. As I said, a 4-2-4-2, that's a standard theme park. And it's definitely looked like a much more claustrophobic affair to what could have otherwise been predicted. Their collapse here last time, as I said, I complimented the change of pace they made to make sure that they could lock this off and pull the firefight and attention they need to. It's round 2, and it's time for MnM to demonstrate if they've learned how to keep themselves a little bit more controlled.
All right, the round where it will all come down to, we're in the action phase. This is the last 3 minutes you will see of this game, and then we will decide who will be the winner if we have 2 teams coming out with a tie right here. Which would be okay for MnM, not so much for Orgless. But there's not much else they can do. They can no longer go for the win. There is no overtime. So I'm pretty sure they will take 1 point over none.
Explosions happen off in the distance. Nobody close for it to be anything other than a bit of pace. But pace has been a bit of a make or break for some of these teams before. And what we've seen pretty consistently is very quick action and trades and cover. They have had very kind of finite responses to some of the picks that have come in earlier. And it's down to Orgless, as I said, to try and pick them apart. Bash has decided to get a bit early towards Locker and wait to see if he can catch an MnM player by surprise, but you're not going to really surprise that. The angle is held, and you hope that the rest of your team can start to force them into uncomfortable situations. Nafe's the first to suffer some damage, but uses the first to be moved along and actually finds the win against Bash, who was holding that angle with the sheer hope of just taking this 1 kill, and it's fallen against their favor, and that with your anchor hold and your anvil down in the basement, or on the ground floor even, is going to have to be very quickly replaced.
You got to keep in mind, the last time around they wanted to push Nafe out, and well, they're exactly failing at doing that right now as he picks up the kill onto Duco. Not quite sure from where, but it seems to be falling apart here for Orgless, as they're only with 3 members left, with Mickey, Josh, and Septic. Those are the 3 that need to step up here. Those are the 3 that need to step up now in these last 65 seconds if they want to be able to pick up a point here. Otherwise, it will be MnM to pick up the full 3. Bit of an attempted quick ADSing, un-ADSing pre-fire right here from Septic. Not quite sure if there is any advantage to it, but it is going to be Dax to pick up the kill onto Josh, and suddenly it's looking quite dire. Mickey, however, will be able to go for a quick response. The question is it too late?
Wow. Subtle breaking there on the bathroom as Mickey tries to creep round and down. Is aware there'll be some attention paid here, and they just catch them in the middle of the corridor. A 3-2 MnM. Your body count is not too high, but the default cam's going to give the game away. The man on 19 now. They've doubled themselves up inside the bathroom. Mickey is keeping the door under watch as they try and pull one more body out before they go for the collapse. They're aware that there is someone on split wanting to peek and swing. It's a castle against an F2. It's not an easy fight in anyone's book, but time helps and pressure helps, and you just keep holding down the trigger, and MnM hold it down in the very end. and they find themselves at more points. GG Users Clan comes in from Josh, but Orgless, he played very, very well. Unfortunately, MnM just had that little bit more at the end.
This is by no way the 7-0 we might have seen predicted on the desk before by Jess. Orgless really stepped up here on Team Park. They unfortunately weren't able to get a single point out of it, even though it was quite deserved. I think this was an even matchup. It was just that MnM was a little bit better in the end, and that led them to this 7-5 victory. Absolutely deserved, even though a draw could have maybe been more at its place. But MnM is going to be elevating themselves up onto that leaderboard. Will be taking the distance from Gavana, and that means that they might be secured after the next matchup, depending on whether or not Penta will win.
Well, let's go see what Jess has to say now. After esteeming a 7-0, it wasn't quite that. Let's throw to the analyst desk and find out more.
Jess, wrong.